Joe Manganiello has been running D&D games for a long time, and so I had to ask him, what's his advice for not only new dungeon masters, but also ones who've been doing this for a long time as well?
I still get nervous before I dungeon master. I still get nervous before I DM. I get butterflies. I get mild forms of panic in the week leading up to my games, in the way that I get nervous when I'm about to go out and do a play on opening night. It's going to be live, and I don't care if there are cameras or not. I want these people to walk away and remember these stories. The kids that I DM'd with growing up, they all remember those stories. We all do. And every time we see each other, we just recant all of the adventures. And I know that this game has magic that can live on in people's brains forever. They saw it. They were there. Even though you weren't, you feel like you were. And there's something magic about that. So I'm cognizant of that. And my advice to DMs is, like, think big, think cinematic, think, like, don't hold back. What's the coolest image you can have in your mind? What's the movie that you want to see? Go create that situation. I love describing combat. A lot of times when we get through a couple of cool rounds of combat, if people have done some really cool things, I'll recap. So I'm walking them through and I'm acting out the combat, and it's, so then it was this, and then you did this, and then he hit with that, and then boom, the fireball, but then he fell off the balcony, and then the dragon whipped its tail, so it was boom, up against the wall, boom, and it's story time, man, and you're all contributing. I would also say as a DM, like, I cannot prep enough. Like, I'm such a prep guy, but I love it. I come down here. This is like my tool shed. I come down here and take time away from, my other work, or, which is very intense and all consuming. And so this is my break. I come down here. I build my sets. I take my little trays, my little Dwarven Forge trays. I build my stuff. I go and I hide it. I hide all the rooms of the dungeon and hope that they get to those rooms that I built. And so I like to prep a lot, because when I get into the game, I throw it all out. Like, I just like the flow. I like to see where it goes. And the players in your game are going to unfold the story as well. And a lot of times that stuff is, that's worth the price of admission, watching them go off and try to figure out. I love watching the players try to figure out what to do next and how we're going to do it. And just kind of sit back and keep my poker face. And sometimes great ideas come out of that. So I would say that, just stay engaged. I also think, I use new players in my campaigns. Like, when a new player jumps in as a guest star, I'll work with them to write a story that leads the characters logically to the next place they need to get to. So there was a big warship full of dragon cultists. They appeared in a warship. Well, when the next character shows up, he's going to be from this small coastal town, and he's going to have a piece of information about that warship that they saw in their harbor that pulled in, and he'll have some piece of information which then drives the party that way. That can give the illusion that there is many more choices out there than there actually are, where they're being nudged in a certain direction. Now, they may or may not go there, and you need to be ready. So my last piece of advice is, like, just be ready to pull it out of your ass, because a lot of dungeon mastering is pulling things out of your ass. But if you prepare a lot and you have a lot written out, then you've got a lot of connective tissue. You've got railroad track. You've got the material to build the tracks of the story with you. And there's nothing that says that it has to happen here. It can happen down here. It can happen there. So none of your work is going to go to waste. It's just going to be railroad track you're going to use down the line. But in the moment, yeah, you got to be ready, which is why I keep a list of, like, fake names on the inside of my dungeon master. You got to have names you can call upon. You've got to, And you got to keep track of the story. I'm always calling back. I'm always having some older character from previous in the story that finds its way back into the plot line because there's that oh no moment. This guy's back, you know. Um, and like I said, yeah, it's like just like what's cinematic. I've had a character that's been resurrected twice in my campaign. So the second time he was resurrected, he's now a ghost animating his suit of armor, and his body is interred somewhere else. There's nothing in the books that says anything about doing that. I just think it's cooler, so let's do it. So it's the books are suggestions. I take the rules very seriously, but I also just bend them wherever it's cooler.
Thank you, Joe, so much for the interview. I'm Todd Kenrick, your host. Thank you so much for watching.